can you share any sort of details about some of the progress that FTI has made in terms of its diversity goals and efforts, and maybe what some of the goals that they're working and striving towards right now are?
Absolutely. And thank you. I'm excited to be here. Joining the organization was really a pivotal moment, right? Not just for me, but for the entire organization, for our people here. So very excited to be here and be driving the work and working with an amazing team in Vivian Young and Ricky Ford, who sits in our London office, and working together collaboratively with Holly Paul and the HR team. So all of that said, so one of the things I loved the moment I walked in the door, actually, I heard about before I walked into the door, was the design of the 4 pillars, right? And I recognized that to get to the point of the 4 pillars, we had to involve the voice of the people. And I'm a huge believer in the fact that you really need to ask people, talk to people. Don't just, send out a survey and say, okay, great, thanks. Actually have a conversation. And so I knew that those conversations happened in the summer of 2020 simply because all of the things that happened in the summer of 2020, right? And so I think it was the catalyst to do some bigger things across the organization. And so while I was going through the process of hearing from people here during my interview, I really thought about the fact that, huge kudos to Steve Gumby and to Holly Paul, to the EXCO, for really thinking broadly about how do we bring the voice of the people into how we move forward. And so that all led to the creation of the 4 pillars. And those pillars are really what has guided all of the work that the team and I have been able to really bring forward in collaboration with our COEs, such as the talent acquisition team and talent development and the HR leadership team. But let me just, give you some insight into some things as it relates to some accomplishments in the past year and change since this team has been in place. When we talk about, pillar number 1, which is all around supporting, promoting, and retaining diverse talent, we have, we've certainly done some things to make sure that we put some goals and metrics out there in place. But what we're doing to really make sure that we're tracking all of that is that we're continuing to engage with our leaders, with our EXCO, across the segments and the regions, and reviewing action plans and the progress we're making, including the review of women that we currently have in our pipeline on all of our recruiting efforts, as well as our retention plans, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're really building that diverse leadership pipeline. We've also pulled together, quite a few mentor opportunities. We have the SDMD mentor program. We had FTI Ignite, which is the program for our consultants through directors that just launched, which I know you're
I was in,
with.
yeah.
You are. And so we really had the opportunity to bring those things to life for people to really be able to connect and build that network, right? And to be able to understand how to navigate the organization, and in turn, how to grow and develop so that they stay with the organization. So that's all like round, making sure that we're retaining our talent. And then as it relates to doubling down on our efforts to attract talent, which is pillar number 2, we've got some great highlights, right? We really ratcheted things up in terms of our hiring around women. There are some highlights regionally. So for example, in Asia, we were able to really increase the percentage of our hires of women, and it's actually the highest of any of our regions. And as it relates to even our segments, there are a couple of segments where we've done a fantastic job of making sure we have, really, we're staying the course as it relates to our women. And so StratComs, for example, had like the highest percentage of billable female hires in the past year, followed by Health Solutions. So I think when we're thinking about, our women population, we're certainly on the right track. We know that last year we were able to meet the goal of 100 female SMDs. So very excited about that. But we're also looking at other communities, right? We're
Yep.
thinking about our LGBTQ plus community. We have really made some connections with some external partnerships to be able to drive attraction from that community, from our Black and African American community, and our Latinx community. And so I think that there's certainly more work to do as it relates to our Black and our Hispanic and Latinx population. But we recognize that we're not going to get it right in a year. We're not going to get it right in 2 years, right? But we know that collectively, with some of the things that we've got in place, with a really targeted laser focus on our diversity goals, we are going to be able to get there. And the hope is that we're doing it together, right? We're continuing to recognize the need to connect with our executive leaders, our diversity ambassadors, our WIN leaders, our employee resource groups, our HR leads, all of it, because we can't do it alone.
Well, I appreciate so much that you have taken the time to talk with us today and just shared so many amazing insights and all of the work that you're doing with DIB. We're thrilled. I know I speak on behalf of everyone. We're really excited to see what else is in store in the short and long term. Welcome again, and really looking forward to talking with you again.